360 evaluation. I have my 360 evaluation done in the course of my leadership in the organization. And there were common threads that I found quite interesting. I found that my strength predominantly were in the domains of emotional intelligence. I pretty much had high emotional quotient. And that lent credence to the fact that I could bottle empathy for sale. Would you like a bottle? Now, my predominant leadership style slants towards the coaching and the affiliative, but I would not sit and say, I am wired this way, therefore I cannot change. No. With feedback, I incorporate feedback per time and I begin to evolve and I begin to change. Because guess what feedback does to you? It makes you a better version of yourself. Someone actually called it feed forward. You know why? Because it propels you forward. So you receive the feedback, you incorporate it, and guess what? It propels you forward. I kind of like that, feed forward. You cannot be better if you do not incorporate feedback. Toastmasters International is an amazing place to learn in a safe and non-judgmental environment. It was the words of Brian Tracy, and he said, become the kind of leader that people will want to follow voluntarily, whether you have a title or a position, irrespective. Stay nimble, stay adaptable, just like you can swivel the cat in the departmental store. You can always change your mind, drop an item and pick another, just so you can lead in any situation. Ladies and gentlemen, leadership is not a walk in the park, but it's an opportunity to sow and to reap. It's an opportunity to grow and to see others grow, to help others plant their feet firmly on the next rung of the ladder. Because as you grow, they grow. As they grow, you grow. Are you in the mood for shopping? Why don't you grab your cart and let's head to Lead Right, the one-stop shop for the one-stop leadership shop. Toastmasters is our Lead Right. Great opportunities to lead, great opportunities to have some bumps here and there and to grow thereby. Thank you for shopping with us. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Please, I need to see hands going up. Thank you. Excellent speech delivery there. Wow. So there's just so much to take out of that, but I just want to highlight this even before we get to the evaluation section. She said, I could bottle empathy for sale. Do you want to buy? That's something to think about. All right. So while some of us are preparing to go shopping at Lead Right Shop, we will call on the evaluator for the second speech to be delivered by Toastmaster Essay, and her evaluator will be Toastmaster Toastin. Toastmaster Toastin, the virtual lectern is yours.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the day. And hello, everyone. This evening, Toastmaster Essay will be completing a project from the Visionary Communication Path Level 5. This is Project 3. So Toastmaster Essay should have developed skills to successfully lead in a volunteer organization. It's expected that she has actually been a leader in such an organization for a period of 6 months. And this evening, we expect her to share some aspect of that experience with us rather. Some of the key things we will be expecting that has been done. I have already mentioned that she has actually led for a period of at least 6 months. She should have also gotten feedback from members of the organization, and she should have developed a succession plan to aid the transition of her leadership role. If there's anything Toastmaster Essay does consistently, it's blowing us away. So I'm looking forward to her doing that this evening. Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Toastin. Toastmaster Essay, over to you.
Please confirm you can hear and see me.
We can, loud and clear, and see you very clearly.
Having a safe space to imagine, dream, and reinvent yourself is the first step to being happy and successful, whatever road you choose to pursue. These were words by American writer and children's book illustrator Ashley Brand. Having a safe space to reinvent yourself, to dream and imagine. And being a member of the Enugu Literary Society and then becoming a leader in Enugu Literary Society gave me one of the safest spaces I got to blooming. You know, there is an author I like called Haruki Murakami. He's a Japanese writer. He's very popular. His books have been translated into over 50 languages. And he actually, interestingly, gives very beautiful takes on magical realism. And he had said this point about I'm safe inside this container called me. And you see, that quote has always stayed with me in my head. Up until I was 22, I was one of those persons who would never lead, never volunteer. Sure, I like creative events, so I would attend, but I would never participate. I was one of those people who would attend an event and judge, oh my God, why is this not going so well? This could have been better. Oh my God, why did they not do it this way and do it this way? So how I started leading in the Enugu Literary Society was a very interesting journey for me. You see, one thing about volunteering is the fact that, first of all, it's not like work, you know. Okay, I know if I finish killing myself, at least when I get that alert, I'll tell myself, I might feel underpaid, but at least I got money for my labor. But you see, with volunteer work, it is whatever you see, you take. Chances are you would even spend your own money more than you would earn any money. But the kind of camaraderie it would form around you, the kind of credence it will give to your creativity, I do not think there's an amount you can put on it. You see, as I have actively been a part of the Enugu Literary Society for the past 6 years, but I did not actually start leading with them until 2018. And you see, in leading in Enugu Literary Society, where I was the programs coordinator, there were some key skills I picked, and even while going through my Toastmasters manual, I really, really could empathize with. First of all, you have to recognize the importance of reward. Reward does not mean you're giving anybody money. Sometimes as simple as how you tell people, thank you for a job well done. I really appreciate your effort. Oh, wow, this flyer you designed, it's on point. Just that means the next time they are coming to give you their free time and energy to work, you would get even better versions of them. And then there's the ambience. If people feel respected, they would give you more. One of the things about working in English Literary Society was that I had to work with a lot of students in universities and secondary school students. And I do not want to sound ageist, but if you know young people like to have drama, in my opinion. And so that means if they do not feel respected, they would base. That's the Nigerian parlance, that just means they will leave you to do your own thing. But when they feel that, oh, this person actually listens to my opinions, the kind of creativity you would get from them, it is amazing. And then you have to show competence. When you lead, you have to lead by your action. It is not saying, oh, we have this meeting and we need to drop this plan. Everybody should be here by X time, and then you are running late. No, that doesn't help. When you lead people, you have to show your competence and show working that you actually believe in this idea about moving this organization. While I've led in the Enugu Literary Society, there's been a lot that I have loved. There was one event we organized where I collected my title from, actually called For Art's Sake, where we're able to get people to come and perform. And we actually sold tickets. We got a lot of patrons who bought tickets for students, bought tickets for people who could not afford it. And we had over 300 people attending at the Enugu Sports Club. It remains one of my favorite events I ever managed. And then there's the book club. I am a big fan of reading, right? So I would always be team book club any day, anytime. And so our Enugu Literary Society book club, we have currently read over 30 books since I have been part of this book club. And it was not by my efforts alone. Connecting with people, getting someone to agree to be the facilitator each month, I would not say it was easy, but again, when people know you respect them, when with something as simple as voting the book to be read, people are more enthusiastic when they know it's their own favorite book being read. Currently, there is the Enugu Literary Society Library Project, where we have tried to raise money to get books and grants. And one of our founders was able to give us a space where we currently have the Eastern Library. This is the only free library in Eastern Nigeria where people can come and read and get access to books. And it was a project that took over 4 years, and I am absolutely proud of it. It is not yet Uhuru, because we still want computers and we want someone who we can actually pay to stay there all the time. But libraries are about freedom. They give you freedom to read, to communicate, and express yourself. Those words are by Neil Gaiman, renowned American author. You know, when I received the 360 evaluation feedback, which was part of people who had worked with sharing their opinions on me, One thing that kept popping up was how about time management, and in maybe sometimes how I share feedback. And I was like, me, essay, time management. If there's one thing I have now realized, and I'm very grateful for joining Toastmasters, I have learned to respect people's time. Before now, it used to be very hard for me. Even if you told me to do something, in my head, I have communicated to you. So, oh, it's 6 o'clock, you see me there. But I realized while working that for most people, they would rather, if I ask you 7 times for something, better you tell me 7 times that it is ready than you come on the last minute and say, oh, yes, it's ready. Most people, even if they do not like to use the word micromanaged, like to get micro information. And I think that was one thing I really, really learned. And it came out a lot when I got my evaluation, in knowing how I share feedback and how I manage time. It doesn't mean true while doing all these things, it was all so nice and rosy, right? Even as I have built more credence in how I work and manage people, I also know that in learning how to acknowledge contributions I got from all the people I worked with, there was something about who was going to take my position when I needed to relocate from Enugu State to Port Harcourt. I struggled with it, to be honest. And in terms of building my succession, one thing that had really helped was, thankfully, how much more global and digital the world has become. So it was very easy for me. We created WhatsApp groups. We had Google Drive folders that everyone has access to, where all the documents that we used in applying for grants, in collaborating with different sister organizations, in getting donors, people had access to them, even for our passwords and managing our social media calendar. And I think that really helped by the next person who came in and was able to take my role as programs coordinator for Enugu Literary Society. And interestingly, by the end of this quarter, she's going to be going for NYC. And there's already 2 other people who we know are likely going to take over from her when she leaves and cannot be physically available. But this does not mean I'm still not here. Even if I am not in Enugu State anymore, I am still a member of ELS. I try to attend our end of year party, and every month, chances I am always in one meeting, doing one pitch or one application to help us raise more money, because in ELS, we always want more money. So please, if you're on this call and are looking for a literary organization that you want to support, please, I am a DM away. I can easily post our account in the chat box, but there are so many ways we'll get it. Since I've been a part of ELS, I cannot deny that I have grown. I have so much more friends now. There's a popular joke that SA likes children. And to be fair, I don't think there's any students in any university in Enugu State that I don't know at least 5 people. There are young people who I met when they were in secondary school that are now in university, and one has even graduated. When you lead people, I would really highly recommend that you learn to appreciate them. You recognize and respect their efforts. And trust me, if you also show competence, they would love you more. Being a member and leader of the Enugu Literary Society has given me the safest space to bloom. And for art's sake, I am always glad that I get to serve and appreciate art. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Toastmaster SA, for your speech. A lot of things to take away, and probably more things that I didn't know about you just popped up in this speech. So great to know, and thanks for sharing. So on the third minor speech we have today will be from Toastmaster Afoke, and it's titled The Magic of Communication. Toastmaster Afoke will be evaluated by Toastmaster Chika. Toastmaster Chika, the virtual lectern is yours.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Olem, the TMOD of the day. Thank you for the privilege to evaluate Toastmaster Afoke. Toastmaster Afoke is about to spin a little bit of her magic. And she's going to do that while trying to show us her understanding of her communication style. This is part of the journey she is currently undergoing in her dynamic leadership, and it's a second project for her level 2. What are we expecting from her? A speech. It does not matter what kind of speech, but we'd like to feel the impact of her communication style on her as a person. Afoke is a guy. Apologies. So we'd like to see the impact of his communication style on himself and on other people around him. So we're expecting him to share stories or different aspects of how he has been influenced, or he has used his communication style to influence things and people around him. But a cautionary note, please, Toastmaster Foke is not expected to come here and just relate everything he had seen on the base camp, but rather an application of what he had seen while auditing the program on the base camp. On that note, I'd like to hand back to the Toastmaster of the day to call out my speaker for his speech. Back to you, Toastmaster Olen.
Thank you, Toastmaster Chika and Toastmaster Afoke to deliver the magic of communication. Toastmaster Afoke, the magic of communication. The magic of communication, Toastmaster Afoke. You have the virtual lectern.
All right, good afternoon, Toastmasters and guests. Please confirm you can hear and see me.
We can hear you, can see you.
Okay, hello there. What's your style of communication? Have you even heard about the magic of communication? Or let's even start from here. What do you even think communication means in the real sense of the word? Now let's delve into it a little bit. It's important for us to answer these questions because communication is very essential. In fact, communication has a lot to do with how we influence our environment, how we make impact. So this question cannot be overemphasized. First and foremost, let me tell you a story. You know, a gentleman was invited one time by the press guys, and he was asked a question concerning a security situation or an economic situation in a particular state, because he was believed to have a vast knowledge of happenings in the political scene or in the economy, as it were. When this guy showed up being interviewed, he started responding this way. First, the question was posed at him. What do you think about the economic situation and the security situation of these states? He said, first and foremost, let me say that the economic crankum, or if you like, the economic higgy haga that has enveloped this region for a period of now has all the trappings of an odoriferous saga. Hungaga twangaga. Oops, my goodness. I was amazed, or at best confused, having listened to that gentleman. I'm sure you have an idea of who I'm talking about. If you do, kindly type yes in the chat box. I'll be looking out for your yes. How many yeses do we have? Thank you. So many yeses. Thank you. Now, what's communication all about? How best do we have to make sure our communication is effective? Now, for this gentleman, I shared his story. I'm sure his view is the louder your vocabulary sounds, or the more confusing you make your listener feel, then you are a champion of communication. But let me ask you, indeed, what's your communication style? Is it a direct communication style? In which case, when you engage your audience or you engage a conversation with someone, you just want them to go right into the subject of the matter, no beating around the bush. You just want them to hit it succinct, straight to the point. No cause for shifting from one, perhaps, view to the other. Or is it the style that encourages people to be free, to have an enabling environment, to express themselves happily? Or could it be the style that is usually called the supporting communication style, in which case You encourage people to feel free to express themselves and perhaps talk more about themselves while you listen in actively? Or could it be the analytical communication style, in which case you have to analyze every phrase, every word, look for every punctuation in what the other person on the other side is saying to you, or read meaning to what the other person is saying? Could this be any of your communication style? For me, I love to communicate in such a way that my audience or the individuals I have that conversation with feels absolutely relaxed, so free, so happy, and so easy to speak up, to say their mind, to say their view. I like that type of communication style. I'll give you a story. There was a time I had the opportunity to deliver a health talk in the midst of the young and the not so young. However, majority of the population was kind of teens. Teens were the major part of that group. And just after I had given that speech, as it were, or that public lecture on a head talk, I was on my way out. And three ladies were running after me. And I turned and looked, and wow, I greeted or I responded to their greetings, and it wasn't very easy for them to speak out. In fact, one of them greeted, "Good evening, sir," and got a spank from the other colleague, like, "Come, it's not yet good evening. The time is 10 minutes past 11 in the morning." And I could feel the tension everywhere. I could feel the unease everywhere. What did I do, therefore? I gave a broad smile. I took them to the back of the hall and we sat down. I made sure everyone could catch their breath in introducing themselves. And with a nice smile, I also introduced myself. And then what was it they came for? They wanted to learn more about what it takes to be a healthcare personnel. With this atmosphere I had created, the fact that I had given them a level playing ground to communicate without being afraid or without being worried on what to say, made them to be able to ask their questions and respond to some of the questions I needed to find out from them as well. It also helped them to imbibe some of the lessons or some of the guides I had to offer them at the time. In conclusion, Toastmasters and guests, effective communication is very important. If we do not have an enabling environment for people to communicate clearly and in a friendly manner, it will just reflect the African proverb which says, once a bird flies from the earth and lands on an ant hill, that bird is still on the ground. It's back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Foke, for that great delivery. Beautiful speech right there. Thanks everyone thanks to all the manual speakers. I would want us to have, an interlude just for a few minutes. For those who are in the room, who are in the conference room, in the face-to-face, do you have your cake and your sparkling red wine?
Right there.
What's the aim of this question, please?
I'm just asking. So some of us who decided to stay in the office, please attend.
Big boys, come back.
So I'm just going to, play us a tune for a bit and let us do some catch up if we want to for a bit, just for a bit, yeah. Before we get to the table topics.
Okay, somebody share it.
And what's happening?
What do you mean, what's happening? Who is even giving us this internet stuff?
I don't know.
Oh, was this part of the... Yes. Are you kidding me?
So I'm a bit worried that it feels like the virtual audience are being left behind. We
This
did
is
not get our delivery.
But it was announced that there would be free cake and wine
I don't know what Essie wants
for
to
the
hear.
face-to-face audience.
I don't
It
know
was
what
announced.
Essie wants to hear. We don't have
Like
a
their laughter is so villainous.
Last time
Adding more
was
credence of
We just have chocolate, good, moist, yummy looking, not infested.
Are you rubbing it in?
Decorated
Toastmaster?
chocolate cake.
Are you trying to rub it in? Like, you
Yes.
know?
honestly, her words are adding more
Yes.
credence to my pain. Her
Yes.
words are adding more credence to my pain.
Very
So
next time.
It's
It's 1 minute rise before we go back.
Why is it dark in there? Just as equity.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. It's more Robinson.
Please, can we mute the physical audience? Please, can we mute the physical audience?
Sorry.
Can we mute the physical? Can we mute the people eating? Some of us have a phobia for hearing food sounds.
Can you pop the wine open? Thank you.
Hello, sorry. Toastmaster, I say you were speaking.
Yeah, I was wondering that for those of us who have a phobia for hearing food sounds when we are not there, could we get the people in the physical room muted? I think that would help.
If you can find a way to do so.
I like to hear the sound.
All right, thanks everyone. Thanks. So we'll get back to the meeting, and right in order, I'll be calling on the table topics master, Toastmaster Senator, to take us on the table topics segment. Toastmaster Senator, you have the virtual lecture.
Thank you very much, Madam TMOD, and welcome back to the table topic session, which is the most exciting part of the Toastmasters meeting and also most challenging, where some people go on ghost mode, but I know we have a lot of credent speakers today. I'm not sure anybody's going to go on ghost mode. So I'll appreciate if you're a guest, please just rename as a guest. So, because this is the opportunity for guests to speak in a Toastmasters meeting. So I'll be calling on, I need some volunteers, but I'm going to pick a Toastmaster first to show us the way it is done. So I need like 4 volunteers, please. Mind you, you have 2 minutes to deliver your speech, minimum of 1 minute and maximum of 2 minutes. So if you have to speak this, can you show with a raise of hand?
So Toastmaster Senator, let me help here with the Toastmaster that could do the first delivery. Apparently everybody's playing the role.
Okay, I'll just pick a Toastmaster that will do it for me.
Oh yes, Toastmaster Nnamdi Chikobi.
Toastmaster Nnamdi Chukudi. Okay, Toastmaster
Toastmaster.
Nnamdi Chukudi, can you hear me, please?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Sorry, we murdered your surname.
It's a Chadikobi.
Sorry, we murdered the surname. Apologies.
Chadikobi.
Okay, Shuko. Okay, thank you for that. Chizobi Ngobi. So I want to
Yes,
pick
another one. But it's okay, it's okay.
Sorry. Okay, I want to pick a question from 1 to 4. Pick a number from 1 to 4. Is he on the call?
Yeah, I'll pick 3.
Okay, pick 3. Okay, this is number 3. Is a quote from Brian McGill, which says, "When you quit believing, in the magic of life, you get a life without magic. When you quit believing in the magic of life, you get a life without magic. What's your take on that? You have 2 minutes, please.
Good evening, Toastmasters.
Good evening.
Please, can you come back with that again?
Okay. The quote is from Bryant McGill, which says, when you quit believing in the magic of life, you get a life without magic.
When you quit believing in the magic of life, you get a life without magic. As a growing child, I've always believed in a lot of things. I already had an idea of how I wanted my life to be. I wanted to become an engineer. I wanted to have lots and lots of money. I wanted to go on vacations 4 times a year, 3 months each. I had a lot of dreams and lots of things I would have loved to do. And one that stood out for me is that I would love to end up with someone that will make me and add value to me as a spouse, right? My father used to tell us that the woman you marry will either make you or mar you. So from time immemorial, I was determined to end up with the right person that will bring that magical touch to my life. And as we graduated from childhood to teenage age, I made sure I was involved with the best of the girls as girlfriends. And then we graduated to adulthood. And I can tell you for a fact that the number of ladies I was involved with were all great ladies with magical touch. But unfortunately, I didn't end up with any of them. And at some point in my life, I joined the League of Guys that became heartbroken. And guess what? My heart was broken with a letter. Not if she didn't even have the guts or the courage to tell me face to face or even via a phone call. It was a letter that was dropped in one of my books. And guess what? It's the shell control framework. That's where the letter was, the breakup letter was served. And then I went into hibernation. I was sad. I started visiting the church. I needed God's intervention at that point. I was broken totally. And I started, imagine someone who don't have a girlfriend, started attending marriage classes. And then while attending marriage classes, I kept on praying and all that. And guess what? That magical lady just walked by. She came to me, I didn't go to her. And in less than 3 months of meeting this lady, I proposed to her. And in less than 6 months, I made her my wife. And since then, my life has been filled with lots and lots of magic moments. Over to you. Thanks.
Thank
Wow.
you.
Wow.
Wow.
Awesome. Please, where is the photograph? Please show us.
From
Show us.
control
And we
framework.
need updates, though. We need updates on what's happening so far.
From broken hearts with a letter to a magical lady to marry. Thank you very much for sharing that with us, TM Nandi. So I'll move on. Anybody else?
So you have Toastmaster Chizube.
A Toastmaster Chizobe, pick a number 1, 2, and 4.
Oh me, oh my. What's my lucky number now? 2 is my favorite number. 2 is good.
Okay, number 2 it is. All right, this is a quote from Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. A quote from Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, which says, magic is believing in yourself. If you can't do that, you can't make anything happen. Magic is believing in yourself. If you can't do that, you can't make anything happen. You have 2 minutes, please.
Of course, this resonates with me. Magic is believing in yourself. You are the only one that can make the difference that counts. No matter how much a pastor preaches, no matter how a counselor talks to you, you are the one that will make the difference. On several occasions, I found myself on a crossroad, and each time when I look back and remember what my mother told me, when I normally have challenges, he will say, remember you are a lion's cub. The cub does not eat grass. It feeds on flesh. That means you are toughened. You can stand it. You can believe in yourself. And no matter the obstacle, you will win. And time again, it has happened. And I've seen it even in as a spinster, as a married woman, as a mother of many, and mother of grown children. Oh my goodness. I just see this resonating with me. And I also play it out to you. Believe in yourself. Everything is possible and achievable. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Chizobe, for that warm charge that we should believe in ourselves, that everything is possible. Thank you. So I'll need a third speaker now. Can I go? Okay, this time I'll just pick randomly. Can I? Precious, is Precious on the call, please? Precious Unorum.
Yeah, I can hear you, ma.
Okay, it's not my sir. Thank you very much, Precious. So I want you to pick a number from 1 and 4. Pick your lucky number. 1 and 4 just left.
I guess 3 is lucky for me. So I go with 3.
Just pick we have just 1 and 4 left. Number 1 and 4.
Okay, I pick 4.
Okay, pick 4. Okay, 4 says, what opportunity you have missed in the past just because you did not believe in yourself? What opportunity you have missed in the past just because you did not believe in yourself? You have 2 minutes, please.
Okay, going back to 2019, after I got admission in Federal University of Technology, Owerri, after my year 1 first semester and I saw my results, I was like, I saw some scholarship opportunities that I would have applied and gained, but I was feeling so inferior. I was like, can I be picked? My course is more like the scholarship was more of engineering. So, and I was so contemplating on the issue, and I didn't apply. So when the scholarship results came out and everything, one of my friends that applied in the same department got the scholarship, and my GPA was much more higher than his. So I think that was a major. I was happy for him, but deep down I was a bit sad because I could have gotten this in a platter of gold, but due to lack of belief, I was so skeptical because I was scared, so I missed out.
Okay. Thank you very much, Precious, for that delivery. Thank you for sharing your story with us. So I'll move on to the last speaker of the session. I'll choose Humphrey Oluku. I hope I pronounced that right. Is Humphrey on the call, please?
Yeah, hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. I have a question for you, and you have 2 minutes to deliver.
Yes, I know it's only number 1 left.
Yes. What will you do differently? The question is, what will you do differently if you knew no one would judge you? Seems you are in a noisy place. Can you get the question?
Yes, yes. I did. What will I do differently? So, what will I do differently? Good evening to before. I earlier said to you that I was actually on council, so I got to where I was.
Oh, sorry, Aubrey, we are not hearing you very well.
All right, can you hear me now?
Maybe you. Yes.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Not quite. The place is noisy. Maybe we'll just keep.
Toastmaster Senator, let's do some process check. I think we should leave it as the last speech so we can move on to the evaluation bit so we can wrap up on time. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. And I think with this, we have just 3 speakers. Speaker 1, TM Nandi, and Speaker 2, Chizoba, then Speaker 3, Precious. Thank you very much. And over to you, Madam TMOD.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Senator, for anchoring that segment of the meeting so well. And thanks for the volunteers and those we called for, coming off stage and taking a shot at the ad-lib speech. So very quickly, we would move to the general evaluation segment. And I'll be calling on the general evaluator, Toastmaster John, to provide us with reports. Over to you, Toastmaster John.
Thank you so much, the Toastmaster of the day. Now we'll start with the evaluation of the table topics, the prepared speeches, and then I'll call on my role players. But just let me confirm, Toastmaster Essay, I know we just ended the table topics. Are you actually ready?
Sure, I can go general evaluator.
Okay, over to you, Toastmaster Essay, for the table topics evaluation.
Thank you, GE, and good evening, everyone. Thank you to our 3 table topic speakers who showed credence to how much we love and would participate in table topic session. First of our table topics master, thank you so much, Toastmaster Senator, for giving us those questions that also suited the theme of today's meeting, the magic of believing. I would recommend that when we cite quotes, sometimes just, especially if it's very long, you can either show a visual, use a visual cue by flashing a card or also sharing it in the chat box. For our first speaker, we had Toastmaster Nnamdi. I'm going to re-echo what the president said on the chat box when he said it looks like Toastmaster Nnamdi is already on the beach because he says he wants 4 times vacation. Toastmaster Nnamdi, I love that your video camera was on. I loved that you told a story, especially a very vulnerable yet hilarious story. A lot of us, I could see, were smiling when you told us about how you finally ended up with your current partner. I also liked how you showed audience awareness when you were like, guess what? When we're trying to guess how you got your heart broken with a letter. In addition, you showed very beautiful vocal variety when you said lots and lots of money. I had the best of girls as girlfriends. I thought that was very well done. As part of improving in your presentation, I would recommend that you know your camera angles. At a point, it felt like you were looking at another monitor, another camera, and then looking at us. In addition, because Toastmasters is a diverse organization, we might not know what the control framework is or within shell space or generally. So it really helps to provide more context when we say that, and also being careful when we cite things people might not know, for those who do not know what it is. But I absolutely love that you had beautiful vocal variety, you expressed vulnerability, and you also told a personal story and showed beautiful audience awareness. Our second speaker was Toastmaster Chizube, who spoke on magic is believing in yourself. I love the fact that she also showed beautiful vocal variety, especially when, in fact, in picking her question, she did in a sing-song manner. Picking 2 is my favorite number. I thought that was very beautiful, well done. And also when she said, I'm even a mother of grown children. I love that you also left us with a call to action by restating this quote, affirming that believing in yourself would help you move forward. Thank you very much. And our last speaker was Toastmaster Precious. What opportunity you might have missed in the past because you did not believe in yourself. I love that you also told a story and you jumped right in. You also beautifully expressed vulnerability about your concerns with your GPA, yet you were, even if you were happy your friend won, you were honest enough to share how you felt because you knew you might have gotten the opportunity. My recommendation for you would be to on your video because it helps us connect better with you. All in all, I loved the table topic session. I would recommend that we all assure of our camera angles. I loved everybody who used beautiful vocal variety and expressed vulnerability. We had, my mother said, mother advice, my father told me marriage can make or mar you. Personal stories all around, really well done. And my final recommendation would be to use the word of the day when giving our speeches. Thank you everyone for helping us in understanding the magic of believing.
Thank you so much. The tabletop.
Thank you, TMSA. Thank you, darling.
We give her a
Thank
virtual
you, sir.
applause.
Thank you, darling.
Thank you. We
You
can
are
also
special.
thank her. You can thank her personally. But those of us gathered at the physical meeting, send her cake and wine. She wanted earlier, but with that splendid delivery, you know now she deserves it. Send it to her, please. Moving on to the evaluation for the prepared speech segment, we're calling on the first evaluator for Toastmaster Polu. DTM, God knows, over to you.
Thank you very much. I want to appeal that I don't own my camera because I've been struggling with network off and on. I just got kind of.
Your appeal, you may proceed without your.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Okay. TM Folu spoke on the one-stop leadership shop. Thank you, Dr. Folu, for speaking today. I can imagine that imaginary one-stop leadership shop where after shopping, filling my cart, I will get gifts in return. Wow. Thank you very much. I like so many aspects of your speech. I got enthralled when you said leadership is service. Yeah. Leadership is service. And you went as far as letting us know also that you have served and worked in the course of your leadership horizontally and vertically. That got me thinking. That I thought about that, and I want to just say thank you for bringing that to my consciousness. You also made one very splendid assertion when you said, you were talking about one of the leaders when you said, from where he sat in leadership, he may have one perspective. And I coined something and I said, from where we sit in leadership, we may just have only one perspective. And hence, it's important for us to seek and welcome periodic evaluations and feedback horizontally and vertically. All these were things that I gleaned from your speech. Thank you. And they were masterly done. Now, I want to do this evaluation based on certain parameters that I saw in that evaluation form. Clarity. Everyone here on this call, I want to believe, did not only hear you, but understood that speech. And we all had bits and pieces of that information that we're going to take home and take very dear and close to our hearts. Your vocal variety was good. Your use of tone, speed, and volume was apt. Your eye contact, you engaged the audience, and it was infectious, characteristic of Dr. Folu. Your audience engagement, of course, was splendid. When you asked us what was our leadership experience, our experience is being leaders. And of course, the chat box got bubbling. Your comfort level was Very good. We are your people. We love you and you love us. The topic was suitable for the project, the 360 Leadership Project. I have one recommendation for you. And of course, recommendation is not bad news all the time. My recommendation for you, Dr. Folu, is to smile more. And again, I can't wait to have you on this other side of the divide. Can't wait to have you in that space where the distinguished Toastmasters play, because you are everything that you display is, come on, you are already there. Thank you. And I will look forward to listening to you again. Back to you, the General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, DTM God knows. Please, can we give him a virtual round of applause? And for those of us that are physically in the room, a physical round of applause. Moving on to the evaluate Toastmaster essay speech. And I would like to please state that if you're not speaking, remain muted so we can hear and learn from the feedback. Over to you, Toastmaster Tosin.
Thank you very much, Mr. General Evaluator. And of course, thank you very much, Toastmaster Essay. I told you all that Toastmaster Essay would definitely blow us away this evening, and she definitely did that. You see, Toastmasters is a largely volunteer organization, or it's largely a volunteer organization. And as a result, I actually do not think there could have been a better audience for Toastmaster Essay's speech than today's meeting. There was definitely something in it for each and every one of us, whether as Toastmasters or as guests. Yes, the nature of the speech was relatable, but I do think Toastmaster Essay actually made it even more relatable with her honesty, with stories ranging from her not wanting to lead, but having, the most comments and opinions from the sidelines, to even the brutal truth that leading in a volunteer organization can be quite difficult. I thought these actually made the speech very relatable. I'm sure we all picked something, whether we are the ones that, are passing comments from the sidelines and don't want to lead, or we are the ones that make leadership difficult. I'm sure we all had something to pick. Then there's also the qualities that made her an effective leader. She mentioned those clearly. She actually enumerated them. But aside the beautiful fact that she actually listed them and made them clear, I do think what was more spectacular about that was the manner in which she did. She didn't just lecture us about the qualities that made for an effective leader in a volunteer organization. She actually took her time to weave them into stories, personal stories from her experience while leading in this said organization, which in this case was the Enugu Literary Society. I thought that particularly made the points enjoyable. We wanted to listen, and I do think they would actually stick longer because of that. Also, when it came to her delivery, Toastmaster Essay spoke with passion and enthusiasm, and that is always infectious. You cannot sell something to people if you aren't passionate about it yourself. And the truth of the matter is, Toastmaster Essay's passion and enthusiasm was very contagious today. However, in that strength is where I think there is some room for improvement. And this room for improvement is the fact that I thought Toastmaster Essay was speaking quite quickly for the most part of her speech. I do think she can give herself some time, slow down, catch her breath, and actually give some room for some of her thought-provoking words, sentences, quotes, phrases to actually sink in with the audience. Clearly, she smashed her objective. Aside telling us of her experience, she also summed up the solution to the succession plan, and that was very well summarized as information sharing. I thought that was a useful learning point for every one of us on this call as well. And also her conclusion was perfect. It had a call to action asking us to support the Enugu Literary Society and also summarizing the qualities that make for effective leadership in a volunteer organization. Listening to Toastmaster Essay is always a joy, and of course I look forward to hearing her sometime in the future. General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Tosin. Please, can we give him a round of applause, virtual and physical. Now going on to the final evaluator for the prepared speech segment, I'd like to call on Toastmaster Chika to evaluate the final speech. Toastmaster Chika, the virtual lectern is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster John, General Evaluator. Toastmaster Foke, arigato gozaimasu. Thank you. Thank you for a great speech. Thank you for being on the dynamic leadership pathway. It's a pathway that I had also gone on and completed and had a lot to learn from it. Thank you for taking the time to think about the title of this speech. As a supporter of J.K. Rowling's and a lover and ardent reader of her books and movies on Harry Potter, we are waiting for Dumbledore's Secrets to get released in June. So hearing the word magic in anything at all draws me with so much allure. Thank you for starting your speech with a rhetoric, asking me questions that got me reflecting. What are my communication styles? And you repeated it over and over during the course of your speech, as if holding me by a chain, or rather I would say a string, because I could break away, but no, I wouldn't want to break away. I wanted to listen. What exactly is my communication style? Are you willing to tell me, Toastmaster, okay, what is my communication style? That was how you held me, spellbound by that question. And you went up and above the requirements of this speech to actually use a prop and mimic a public figure. When I think of mimicking, I imagine the likes of Trevor Noah, who, due to his power of mimics, eventually became the curator and the lead correspondent of the Daily Show in America. So I see a lot of potential for you, and that's why I say simply, Toastmaster, okay, if I am to recommend what you are to work upon, I would first say, keep working at the use of the tool of mimics. Learn to mimic more people, infuse it more and more in subsequent speeches, and let's see how much that would bring substance into how you speak. But my major reflection and recommendation I'd like to give to you is, the purpose of every speech is audience engagement. And there is nothing that draws people than when people actually find you being vulnerable. Hence, I'm asking that challenge yourself to reflect on every material that you come across so that you can see key applications in your own life. So you tell us how whatever you've learned has impacted you personally. As additional reference material, take your time and listen to the sermons from a pastor called Pastor Stephen Furtick. If you're not religious, don't mind any of what he talks about in terms of his faith, but listen to how he speaks and how he takes whatever material he's discussing and says, I want to apply this into contemporary life. I want you to understand this material as if it was written just for you. I believe that with doing this continuously, you are going to be an A-level speaker and one that everybody, the entire Toastmaster nation, will be proud of. Thank you once again, Toastmaster Foke, for speaking to us through the magic of communication. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much. Please, can we give a virtual and physical round of applause for Toastmaster Chika, the final evaluator for the prepared speech segment. Now it is my honor to the role players, and first I'll be calling on the timer. Please welcome the timer for today with a round of applause once again. Toastmaster Joy. Toastmaster Joy, the virtual lectern is yours.
All right, thank you very much. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Please confirm that you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
I can hear you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for the opportunity to be the timer today. I'll go straight ahead to the timing segment. The first manual speaker, Toastmaster Folu, had a space of 5 to 7 minutes with a grace of 30 seconds. And Toastmaster Folu spoke for 7 minutes, 23 seconds, which means she qualified. Toastmaster Ese was the next manual speaker who also had the same time frame. But unfortunately, Toastmaster Ese did not qualify. It was such a bummer for me because I know Ese is one that has quite a credence for speaking, as we've seen over time. She spoke for 8 minutes, 45 seconds. But it's okay. I'm sure you'll be sorted. Maybe she'll come do the speech again. I would really love to hear her again, but this time within time. The next speaker was Toastmaster Afoke, who also had the same time frame, but spoke for 7 minutes, 25 seconds, which means he qualified. He was within the grace frame. We moved straight ahead to the table topic segment, which was to run for 1 minute, 1 to 2 minutes rather, with a grace of 30 seconds as well. So Namdi spoke for 2 minutes, 25 seconds, which means he was just